In this session, we're going to address the topic of operators and their different types. In Java and most programming languages, these are the operators that you have. The assignment operator, which is the equal to sign. The arithmetic operators, which include plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus. And these arithmetic operators are used to operate on two operands at a time. And then you've got unary operators, which are used to operate on just one operand at a time, which includes plus plus, the increment operator, and the decrement operator, minus minus. After that, you've got relational operators, or the logical operators as they are otherwise called, which includes the double equal to, the not equal to, or and. Now the conditional operator is a new operator which is just a shortened version of the if-else clause. Then you've got the bitwise operators, which are these. These are used to operate on binary numbers exclusively. Here's a program which discusses all of this in detail. It's a huge ass program. Okay. So starting with the assignment operator. As you can see, what the assignment operator does is assign a value to a variable. It assigns whatever value it sees on its left to the variable present on its right. After that, you've got the arithmetic operators, which includes the plus sign, which is used to add two operands together, the minus sign, which is used to subtract one from another, the multiplication sign, which is used to multiply two operands together and save a value in the variable, and then the division sign, obviously, which is used to divide. It's pretty intuitive, you probably all know this. Then the modulus operator, what this does is it divides x by 3 and stores the remainder it obtains in the variable result. After all these, it prints the result correspondingly. Now another function which the plus operator does is concatenate strings. Concatenate is combining strings in the specified range, in the specified way. For example, here I have variable first name and last name, and then all of type string, and then a new variable greeting. In this, I've concatenated this string with the string first name, which is gen y, and the last name, which is y. The first name, which is gen, and the last name, which is y. So when it prints, it'll print all this together. So the plus operator combines this whole thing into one single string, continuous, and then assigns that new string to the variable greeting. Now, the minus operator is used to negate the value of an operand. For example, if you place this before the operand y, it shows the negated value of the operand and stores it in the value in the variable result. And here that's printed. Moving on to the unary operators. What unary operator does is it works on a single operand at a time. For example, the plus plus operator or the unary increment operator. There are two ways in which you can use the unary operators. One way is to place them before the operand in question, and the other way is to place them after. Now when you place it before the operand, what it does is it performs the operation on it first, and then it uses it wherever it's supposed to be used. If you place it after the operand, it uses the operand first and then performs the operation on the operand. For example, in this statement, it will increment the value of x by 1 and then print it. And then in this statement, it will print x first and then after that increment the value of it by 1. And similarly, in the minus minus operator works in the exact same way. Moving on to the relation operators, and as I said before, relation operators are used to check the relation between two operands. Before we discuss that, I'd like to tell you what a Boolean data type is, if it's not been discussed before. A Boolean data type is used to declare variables which store only a true or a false value, or it can even be interpreted as a 0 or a 1. So anyway, the first operator which comes under relation operators, is the double equal to sign, which is used to check the equality between two operands. So this expression returns 1 if the value held by x is equal to the value held by y, and that expression when resolved would either give you a 0 or a 1. It gives you a true value when this expression is true. Now a true value can also be taken as 1, and that is stored in the variable res. If it's false, then this would return you a 0 or a false value, and that will be stored in the variable res. So every relational expression always either values to a 0 or a 1, and that is stored in a Boolean variable usually. So that's all about the double equal to or the equality checking operator. After that you got the not equal to. This would return a true value only if the two operands are not equal. And then after that you have the greater than sign, which will return true if x is greater than y. And then the greater than or equal to sign, which will return true if x is greater than or equal to y. Similarly you got the less than and the less than or equal to. So that's pretty much it about the relation operators. After that, here you've got two bigger expressions which would still evaluate to either a true or a false. Now this would check if xy, the variable xy is greater than 8, and if the variable yx is greater than 8. It would the whole expression given here in the if clause would eventually evaluate to 1 only if this whole expression is true. Otherwise it'll just evaluate to false or 0, and this whole code block would be skipped because the if condition is negated in the bit. Okay, next we have the bitwise operators, which are used to perform operations exclusively on binary values. These are the most commonly used bitwise operators. First we have the unily bitwise complement, which is a negation operator. For example, if you have a variable a which holds a binary number 1001 and you perform this operation, what happens is it negates each corresponding value and stores the value 0110 in the variable b. Now after that you have the single shift left shift operator, which is used to shift a single binary number to the left by the specified number of places. After that we have the unily bitwise sign left shift, which is used to shift a binary number to the left by the specified number of places. And similarly you've got the right shift, which is used to shift a binary number to the right by the specified number of places. For example, if you have a which stores 1001 and you perform this on a, what happens is the value that is stored in a becomes this. It gets shifted to the left by 2 places. Similarly, the right shift works in the same way, except it shifts it to the right. Next we have the bitwise AND. If you have a binary variable, a variable which stores a binary number 1001 and another one which stores the number 0110, and you perform bitwise AND on both of them, what happens is it checks each corresponding digit one by one and stores the corresponding ANDed operation of each of those comparisons in the variable c. For example, here it will store the value 0 and 1 0 0 and 1 0 again, 0 and 1 0 0 and 1 0. For each of these operations it gives a 0 value for AND operation between the corresponding digits. So the final value that will be stored in C is 0000. After that you have the bitwise OR operation. If you had done OR instead of AND in this, it would have given you the output C equal to 1 1 1 1, because each of these comparisons would have given you 1 in after each operation. So that's all about the bitwise operators. Coming back to the program, the same thing of bitwise left shift is explained in this program here, where left shift is performed by 2 places on x1 and the corresponding output has been printed.